Northland is known locally as the birthplace of the nation. Among the first British settlers was missionary Samuel Marsden, and travelling with Samuel Marsden were grapevines. Northland's location and proximity to the sea give the region a subtropical climate. Warm spring temperatures, hot dry summers and calm, clear autumn days allow fruit to ripen early. With vineyards spread across the length of the Upper North Island, the influence of mesoclimates can dictate the varietal selection on each site. From Kerikeri and out to the Bay of Islands is home to the most dense plantings, where Syrah and Chardonnay really relish in the additional heat not achieved elsewhere in the country. Merlot, Malbec and Pinot Gris are also important to the region. Site selection is pivotal in maximising exposure to cooling maritime breezes. Soils are predominantly sandy loam and impart a richness to the wine. Some vineyard sites are planted on and around ancient agricultural land that has been farmed for hundreds of years. As Northland tightens its focus on warmer climate varieties, its unique terroir will produce wines like nowhere else in New Zealand.
Auckland is New Zealand's largest city and home to one of the country's oldest and most diverse wine regions, spanning the narrow width of the Upper North Island. With vineyards planted on islands, steep coastal slopes and sheltered inland valleys stretching across both west and east coasts. With the Pacific Ocean to the east and the Tasman Sea to the west, every vineyard in the Greater Auckland area has a maritime influence. On the mainland, Auckland experiences some of the highest rainfall, cloud cover and humidity in the country, making thoughtful viticulture and vine training a must. Formed by volcanic activity 50,000 years ago, all of Auckland's vineyards, from Clevedon to Matakana, share a similar soil type of heavy clay that adds mineral complexity and hydrates the vines in hot, dry years. Kumeu is located in the foothills of the Waitakere Ranges. It is one of the oldest areas of winemaking in the country. The complex clay soils produce some of the best Chardonnay in the world, along with classic Merlot-based reds which age remarkably well. Waiheke Island is in the Hauraki Gulf and is one of New Zealand's premium red wine regions, with some of the best Bordeaux red wines and Syrahs grown here. Waiheke is drier and warmer than the mainland. Heading further north, Matakana is warmer, perched on the region's east coast with vineyards mainly on gentle slopes producing rich Pinot Gris and acclaimed Cabernet Merlot blends. With its maritime influence, diverse mesoclimates and mineral-rich clay soils, Auckland has all the right elements for the production of ultra-premium wines, particularly the highly regarded Chardonnays and full-bodied red wines.
Travelling down the east coast of New Zealand, you'll find the first vineyards in the world to see the new sun every day. Welcome to Gisborne. Sheltered by hills and mountain ranges to the north and northwest, Gisborne's warm, dry climate is maritime and moderated by the nearby ocean. One of the key strengths of the Gisborne wine-growing region is the kind spring rainfalls and a long, dry summer. This low rainfall, in combination with clay, loam and limestone soils, give Gisborne the perfect terroir for many classic varieties. These conditions are unique and enable all vineyards to be dry farmed. Chardonnay is the largest variety planted here, as well as aromatics like Viognier, Gewürztraminer, Pinot Gris and Chenin Blanc. Manatuki is the oldest wine-growing subregion. Vine age and silt soils with a mixture of clay and calcium make for great drainage. The topographical differences from the valley floor to the steep terraces enable Manatuki to successfully grow many varieties, from rich, age-worthy Chardonnay, sleek aromatics, and beautifully perfumed Pinot Noir and Syrah. Manatuki is home to New Zealand's biodynamic pioneers, with the use of herbicides, insecticides, and fungicides completely forbidden. Further up the Waipau River, you'll travel past the Patutahi Plateau into Patutahi itself. The plateau is one of the youngest areas of grape growing in the region, but is gaining a reputation for producing premium, richly flavoured Chardonnay. Patutahi has a greater elevation and is home to 1/3 of Gisborne's vines. This award-winning subregion has a unique limestone influence, combined with Gisborne's clay. Across the Waipau River and north of the city, you'll find the Greater Ormond subregion, from the Upper Ormond vineyards down the Hexton Hills to the Ormond Valley. Many high-quality vineyards enjoy a frost-free, warmer mesoclimate. Between the Ormond Valley and the city of Gisborne are the Hexton Hills, feeding into the Central Valley subregion. The Hexton Hills are a narrow strip of plantings running from the heavy clay in the Ormond and Hexton Hills into limestone in the foothills. From the limestone foothills across the valley to the Waipau River, the Central Valley is a mixture of clay, loam and silt soils. Learning about Gisborne's sustainably farmed and organic clay and limestone soils, high sunshine hours and minimal rain, it's easy to see how world-class Chardonnay is right at home here, with classic aromatic whites as well as Pinot Noir and Syrah.
Travelling down the east coast, you'll find New Zealand's second largest wine region, Hawke's Bay. A diverse region with distinct sub-regional mesoclimates and vines planted across 25 different soil types. Combined with the Hawke's Bay's warm, dry maritime climate, this makes for one of the longest growing seasons in the country. Hawke's Bay successfully produces some of New Zealand's most famed Bordeaux blends, Syrah and Chardonnay. No less than 10 different sub-regions have been created by the movement of the main rivers over thousands of years. The Naruroro River and the Tukituki River have created a series of exposed ancient riverbeds winding around the region, from the coast to the cooler central Hawke's Bay hills. The Hawke's Bay's most significant and renowned region is the centrally located, low-lying gimlet gravels. As the name suggests, the soils are stony gravel with a thin layer of fine sand and exposed river stones at the surface, absorbing heat throughout the day and re-radiating it through the cool, clear nights. Further inland, neighbouring the gimlet gravels, is the Bridge Pah Triangle. Another premium sub-region, Bridge Pah has the oldest soils in the Hawke's Bay on what is called the Hiratonga Plains. These low fertility, free-draining alluvial soils sit on a bed of red metal, distinct to this sub-region. The sub-region produces plush Bordeaux red blends and outstanding Chardonnay. Heading north across the Tutaikuri River, you'll find the Dartmoor Valley. The soils are similar to that of the Bridgepath Triangle with the addition of limestone. Dramatic terraced vineyards showcase the soil structure perfectly. Dartmoor is home to one of New Zealand's first large-scale single vineyard Chardonnay blocks and also produces restrained mineral Sauvignon Blanc. Out towards the coast, you'll find the Esk Valley, with its own river system and steep terraced vineyards. Home to just a handful of growers, the Esk Valley enjoys slightly heavier soils with sandy loam overlaying gravel and shingle. The story here is also centred around red blends with a fine tannin structure and age-worthy Chardonnay. Travelling south down the coast, you'll find Hawke's Bay's most coastal and maritime-influenced sub-region, Taowonga, producing some of the region's finest Chardonnays and Sauvignon Blanc with a distinct salinity. Further away from the sea and at higher elevations, Syrah and Merlot also relish the hot, arid soils and cooling maritime breezes. Inland from Taowonga, the Havelock Hills and stunning Te Mata Peak are made up of narrow terraces of alluvial limestone and greywacke. Some of the Hawke's Bay's most interesting and expensive wines come from this protected area. Syrah, Bordeaux blends and Chardonnay grow well on the elevated slopes as well as deep, expressive Viognier. Travelling well inland along the Narurora River, you'll find the cooler, more elevated sites of Crownthorpe and Mangatahi. With greater elevation and a cooler climate, these regions produce fresh white varieties including Sauvignon Blanc, Pinot Gris and some well-regarded Chardonnay. An hour's drive inland will take you to central Hawke's Bay. Sites here enjoy a much cooler climate than anywhere else in the region, successfully growing Pinot Noir and Chardonnay on some elevated sites. Much more limestone is present throughout the central Hawke's Bay, giving the wines a mineral edge and finesse. Hawke's Bay's diversity and sub-regional variation is a huge asset to the region, with the opportunity to create regional blends or single site and single vineyard expressions. The warm, low-vigour vineyards produce, at their best, rich, elegant Bordeaux blends, Syrah, as well as structured fine Chardonnay, all of which have shown the ability to age remarkably well.
This cool climate region is tucked away in the southeast corner of New Zealand's North Island. With Masterton to the north, Gladstone to the centre and Martinborough to the south. The low rainfall, steady high UV light and cool nights are perfect for a long ripening season. The region's two main rivers, the Ruamahanga and Hunanarua, have meandered over tens of thousands of years, creating free-draining gravel terraces perfect for production of ultra-premium Pinot Noir with intense, savoury characters. The Ruamahanga River now links all three sub-regions, from Masterton to the sea at Palliser Bay. Masterton is the largest town in Wairarapa. It's understood that Pinot Noir was first planted here by French settlers as far back as 1880, as the region reminded them of their homeland, Burgundy. The valley is shadowed by the Tararua Ranges, and early morning frosts are a risk, in contrast with the ideal warm summer days. This diurnal range produces complex and flavourful wines, with Sauvignon Blanc and Pinot Noir being the dominant varieties here. Further down and overlooking the banks of the Ruamahanga River is Gladstone. The free-draining river terraces, cooler climate and plenty of sunshine gives Gladstone a classic cool climate for growing grapes. With more clay present here over the stony silt loams, this creates its own expression of Pinot Noir and lively Sauvignon Blanc with impressive aromatics. Scientific reports in the late 1970s reveal that Martinborough had all the correct soil and climatic conditions to grow world-class Pinot Noir. Free-draining gravels, some of which can be up to 15 metres deep, combine with clay loams, whilst limestone features in certain vineyards. This once rural town has now been transformed into a series of close-knit and closely planted vineyards in the township of Martinborough. Many of the producers in the region have experienced critical acclaim for their Pinot Noir and Syrahs, and are now investing in larger plantings of the successful Sauvignon Blanc and Chardonnay. The Wairarapa Valley has a long history with Pinot Noir, and learning about its soil profile and climatic similarities to Burgundy, it's easy to see why. With fine age and winemaker experience now entering its second generation, expect to see these great sites of clay loam, limestone, and gravel terraces nurturing sustainably grown grapes to create world-renowned wines.
At the northern tip of the South Island, the Nelson wine-growing region is sheltered in the picturesque Tasman Bay. The two main sub-regions, Moutere Hills and Waimea Plains, benefit from high sunshine hours and a cool coastal climate. The soils of Nelson vary from gravel-threaded clay to stony alluvial riverbeds, well suited to the production of premium Pinot Noir and Chardonnay, as well as Sauvignon Blanc and aromatic varieties. Travelling into the Moutere Hills, it's easy to see what attracted early viticultural pioneers: north-facing slopes, gravelly clay soils and flourishing horticulture. The Moutere Hills are slightly wetter and warmer than the plains, seeing many of the vineyards dry farmed, allowing roots to head deep down into the cool gravels. Pinot Noir and Chardonnay are the focus here. These complex wines are regarded as some of New Zealand's finest. Waimea in Maori means river garden. This sums up the sub-region beautifully. With vines planted on alluvial river gravels, the wines tend to be lifted and lighter than the Moutere. Sauvignon Blanc is the largest planting on the plains, along with aromatics, Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. With some of the highest sunshine hours in the country, cool maritime climate and distinct sub-regions, Nelson's maturity as a region is a credit to the multi-generational pioneering families who still work the vast majority of the region today.
Marlborough is New Zealand's largest wine region, with the greatest area of vineyards planted in the country. Situated at the top of New Zealand's South Island, looking towards the Cook Strait, its maritime climate has a cooling influence, whilst experiencing some of the highest sunshine hours in the country. Along with the world-famous Marlborough Sauvignon Blanc, the region also produces outstanding Chardonnay and Pinot Noir, as well as premium aromatic varieties. Marlborough's diurnal range of around 11 degrees creates long, hot days and cool nights, allowing grapes to ripen slowly and retain fruit intensity and high natural acidity. The Wairau Valley vineyards are planted in the old gravelly riverbed soils of the Wairau River that now flows along the base of the Richmond Range. The humps and hollows are very obvious down vine rows that run from north to south, showing where the river has flowed over many centuries. The soils here are naturally free-draining and range from old stony riverbeds to fine, deep alluvial soils. The Richmond Ranges and Wither Hills protect the Wairau Valley from incoming rain. They create a zone of high sunshine as clouds are buffered by the hills, preventing any rain from spilling over into the main valley. The southern valleys stretch across the valley floor and rise up towards the Wither Hills and Black Birch Range. The soils here are older, heavier in clay and hold more moisture than the Wairau Valley subregion. The rolling hills and valleys mean the majority of sites have good northerly orientation, which assists ripening on this cooler, drier side of the Wairau Valley. Pinot Noir is widely planted in the southern valleys, often on the rolling hills. This area provides a different flavour profile and structure due to these clay-based soils. The Awatere Valley, the driest, coolest and windiest sub-region of Marlborough, is also dominated by its river and floodplains. Flanked by the Black Birch and Kaikoura ranges, the Awatere Valley is the most geographically distinct sub-region. Dramatic river terraces have been carved out, creating free-draining sites with alluvial gravels along the banks of the river and clay and sandstone subsoils on the wider river plains. This terroir influences the profiles of wine produced here, making them highly regarded and distinctive. Experiencing Marlborough's climate of very high sunshine, intense UV light, cool nights and pristine alpine rivers, it's easy to taste this in a glass of Marlborough Sauvignon Blanc.
The North Canterbury wine region spans an impressive 200 kilometres along the eastern coastline of New Zealand's South Island. The Waipara Valley is the home to the North Canterbury wine region, with over 90% of the vineyards planted here. Waipara is sheltered from the cool easterly winds by the Teviotdale Hills, but exposed to the blustery nor'wester, making it a drier and warmer climate. It is often recorded as the driest location in the country, making irrigation essential. With visible limestone present throughout the region, it's no wonder North Canterbury has gained a reputation for Pinot Noir and Chardonnay, as well as outstanding aromatic varieties like Riesling and Pinot Gris. North Canterbury's long, hot days and cool nights give the grapes a long ripening season. The Glasnevin sub-region is typified by its highly mineralised, free-draining, low-fertility soils. These soils naturally reduce vine vigour. The plantings slope down towards the Waipara River, taking advantage of the stony gravels that store heat as they warm up throughout the day. Along the Teviotdale Hills, several different kinds of Omahi limestone can be found, a mixture of fossils, seashells and small pebbles that have been fused together through seismic activity over thousands of years. These north-facing limestone hills slope down to clay, creating the perfect combination for growing wines with minerality and concentration. Pinot Noir is planted on the limestone escarpments, with Chardonnay and Riesling planted further down the slope. A 40-minute drive inland, you'll find Waikari, the home to only a few precisely planted high-density vineyards, situated in natural amphitheatres to take advantage of the northerly aspect. Planted at 200 to 300 metres above sea level, the soils range from pure chalky limestone to lime-rich clays and green sand, perfect for premium Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. Further south is the Banks Peninsula, centred around the French settlement of Akaroa, which was one of the first places in New Zealand to grow grapes. Pinot Noir and Riesling are grown on north-facing slopes. The cool marginal climate is an advantage, creating a long ripening season. North Canterbury's story is centred around the discovery of special sites with clay over limestone soils, very similar to the great vineyards of Burgundy. Combined with the dry, warm days and cool nights, this terroir suits the production of ultra-premium Pinot Noir, Chardonnay and age-worthy aromatic wines.
The Waitaki Valley is one of New Zealand's newest wine regions. It's nestled inland in the heart of the South Island between Canterbury and Central Otago. Famed for its limestone architecture, braided rivers and bordering mountain terrain. With warm summer days, cool nights and dry autumn conditions created by the rain-protecting Southern Alps, Waitaki naturally excels in producing cool climate varieties. Successful experimental plantings now see vineyards dotted along a 75-kilometre strip of limestone escarpments. Climatic conditions and temperatures can vary across the region. Plantings have now expanded into the river floodplains, formerly the home of stone fruit orchards. The soils here are a mix of limestone and alluvial gravels. When it gets it right, Waitaki can and has been judged as producing some of the world's finest Pinot Noir. Age-worthy Rieslings, Pinot Gris and Chardonnay are also produced with a distinctive minerality and complexity driven by this terroir. Like all young regions, Waitaki has its pioneers with courage and commitment to continue developing the successful sites as well as exploring new mesoclimates throughout the region.
From its snow-capped mountains that flow into glacial lakes to deep valleys and arid landscapes, Central Otago is a land of extremes. It's New Zealand's southernmost wine region and New Zealand's only continental climate, with no influence from the sea. With its sub-regions defined by epic mountain ranges, this creates a tapestry of mesoclimates. The Southern Alps play an important role in Central Otago, acting as a barrier to the wet, westerly weather. This results in low rainfall and summer temperatures regularly above 30 degrees Celsius. Central Otago's soil structure is unlike that of any other region in New Zealand. Formerly known for its gold mining prospects, the ancient glaciers have left behind exposed schist outcrops, deposits of silica, quartz and mica. Mixed over thousands of years with ancient river gravels, this unique blend has created the perfect, free-draining, low-vigour soil. Situated east and a short drive from Queenstown along the spectacular Kawerau Gorge lies Gibbston, Central Otago's coolest sub-region. With mostly Pinot Noir grown on these free-draining river gravel slopes, the long, cool and dry summers create wines with naturally higher acidity and a lighter but intense fruit profile. South of Cromwell, along the north-facing Kawerau River terraces, you'll find Bannockburn. These special sites occupy some of the warmest, driest conditions in Central Otago, and as a result, produce distinctively complex wines. The soils are varied, from heavy clay loams to free-draining sandy loams and schist gravels, perfect for Pinot Noir, Riesling and Chardonnay. Surrounding the township of Cromwell, this eponymous sub-region has vineyards from the valley floor up to the lower terraces, running parallel to the Pisa mountain range. The wines of Cromwell have a distinct silkiness and a fine tannin structure. Further up the valley from Cromwell, Bendigo, a true northwest-facing location, is the warmest sub-region in all of Central Otago. Vines are planted on the north-facing slopes, with stony soils capturing the region's hot summer sun and releasing this energy throughout the cool summer nights. Along with Pinot Noir, Bendigo is gaining a reputation as having the ideal conditions to produce some of the highest quality aromatic white wines. Following the mighty Clutha up to its source, you'll find stunning Lake Wanaka. As a sub-region, Wanaka is cool and slightly wetter than the Gibbston and Cromwell areas, producing some of Central Otago's most vivid and delicate Pinot Noirs. The reflected sunlight of Lake Wanaka plays an important role here, mitigating frost. Heading back down the Clutha River to Central Otago's most southerly sub-region, Alexandra, the climate here is as extreme as it gets. The large diurnal range, in both summer and winter, gives the resulting wines a fine structure and vivid aromatics. As one of the world's most southerly wine regions and New Zealand's highest, Central Otago's continental climate is marked by its diurnal variation of hot days and cool, clear nights. This breathtaking landscape has all the right ingredients to deliver purity, complexity, and sub-regional variation in every glass.